Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Love and Law. My name is Virginia Warren. I'm a lawyer and conflict alchemist and the co-founder of the organisation called Lawyers for Love. At Lawyers for Love, we see that the legal system is based in fear, and it uses fear-based techniques to solve problems. It says, love thy neighbour, else we'll punish you. And it acts as if you still need a parent. Lawyers for Love say, to solve a problem, you need to shift to a higher level of consciousness or have a new perspective in order to solve the conflict. That consciousness, that higher level of consciousness is based in love. Love says, love thy neighbour. And if you can't, we'll guide you. We'll show you how. We'll support your autonomy. We'll help you to self-regulate. And this is what we call lovers of the essence consciousness, or Leotech for short. In these live broadcasts, we're showcasing amazing lawyers globally who are bringing their own style of love into legal practice. Today, it's my great pleasure to speak with Bill Van Zyverden. Bill refers to himself as a human being who chose various experiences to learn about his true nature, including the legal profession. He says it continues to amaze him in its infinite possibilities. I have personally heard Bill referred to as a mentor and a leader in the space of holistic law. I've even heard of him referred to as a holistic star. I love that. Bill says he entered law school with the evolution of the profession in mind, so I can't wait to talk to him about that. And indeed, he says it was a calling. A calling does not do his attraction to the profession justice. Bill says sometimes to find joy and the love and peace that paths understanding requires the acknowledgement and breakdown of the personality. And the legal profession is and has been unapologetic as a catalyst. So welcome, Bill. I'm so thrilled to have you here today to have a chat about your views. And I'd probably like to start with, yes, welcome firstly to this program. There's many people that are keen to sort of see what you've got to say because you've been saying this for a long time.
I've been saying it, I mean, it was after the harmonic convergence around 1987 that, for lack of better terms, this download came. I think Stu Webb got it. He and I were fast friends right from the beginning. We tried to get collaborative law out there. I wasn't the first to talk about holistic law. Tanya and Sergio Reis in Brazil were doing something on a parallel track. They called theirs holistic law. Someone in California was doing that. I think we all kind of got this download at the same time. I went live with it, attracted the New York Times, countless speaking engagements at the Times, articles, New York, everything. But
what do you think it just because you guys all had these downloads and this is amazing. Why do you think it still hasn't gained the traction that, even I'm believing in exactly what you're saying?
Do you think it's because it's woo-woo?
That's what they think. I think maybe, minds weren't as open then as they are now. What do you think about that?
They're still not there. The word holistic, I mean, the first time I read Love, Medicine, and Miracles by Bernie Siegel, I read it and called him up. I said, I could write this book and call it Love, Law, and Miracles because we're talking about the same thing. This is, you're having an experience and your only reason for being here is to find out more about who you are. That's it.
Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I believe it's that simple. Yeah.
And if you're doing it as a lawyer, then the holistic approach is you are me. Not just love your brother as yourself, love your brother because he or she is yourself. You are one. You are the table. You are the chair. In a legal perspective, not only are you your client, you're the opposing party, you're the opposing counsel, you're the judge, you're all those things. And as long as you look at it in terms of accepting that this is who you are and use it to figure out about yourself, about your spirit, then there's no opposition, there's no judgment, there's no need for forgiveness because forgiveness requires an initial judgment. You can only forgive that what you've already judged, right? So don't judge. You have nothing to forgive. You're just learning along the way. And there are a lot of milestone events that happen in your life that were pre-planned before coming. Some of them you like, some of them you won't like, but the ones that you don't like most are fast tracks. You know, you get an experience. And from my perspective, the soul doesn't care whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience. It's just an experience. And your soul learns from it. So let it go. You have a bad experience, a humiliating experience, you lose money, bankruptcy, you know, whatever it happens to be, lose your spouse. It's just an experience. Your soul has learned. Move on. That's it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It's so refreshing to hear somebody say this too, because it's very hard for people to hear that. But the moment that you get into the place of acceptance, when you're in a situation, even what's going on globally now, if you sit in, oh, wow, this is what's happening. How do I feel about that? Just feel it. That's what you're here for. You're like the little radar. You're the sensor that sends it all back to the mainframe. It's just like, how does this feel? What's this experience about? Question it. Just play in it. It's so many people pushing away. Yeah,
Well,
and I think the legal system has done that to us as well. You go in, it's terrifying. It's a place that you want to keep pushing against, rather than, wow, look at me, I'm in this experience.
yeah. Well, feeling, that's such a great word. Of course, it was a 4-letter word long ago. And you know, part of what's happening now is we're in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is the water bearer, and we are all one within this bowl of water. And water, of course, we know is emotions. So prior to this, we were in Pisces. Now, the legal profession and the courts, the way they are now, are classic Piscean. Prior to that, we were in the age of Aries, where it was, you know, the fittest wins, the strongest survives, right? And then we moved into the fair fight, which was very Piscean. You have the one fish swimming one way, another fish swimming the other. And Aquarius says, no more. Now we're all one. Now what are you going to do? And part of what I want to do, and maybe we can spend some time now or another call saying, how do we envision the legal system in the age of Aquarius? Because right now we're still in transition, and the Piscean energy is still fighting its hold. And that's what we're seeing. You know, all this vaccine business, masks, opposing views, that's all Piscean, and they're holding on very tightly. But they are going to lose, of course, because they can't fight going into the age of Aquarius either.
Yeah, well, my point of view is on that. I agree and say, well, yeah, there's this shift in the energy, and of course, those that Mother Earth is shifting her energy, and of course, those that are no longer resonating will not remain in the space. It's just you don't need to do anything. You're having an experience, as we said. So there's no right, wrong. It's just an outcome. But as things shift, you shift with, or you don't. That's the way I see it. And there needs to be another platform.
Yeah, well, you're going to do it anyway. You really have no choice because you're not in charge. God's in charge. Your soul is in charge. Not you. So get over that. But I do tell people, from an astrological point of view, when you reach age 28, Saturn returns to where it was when you were born, and it shakes things up. And then again, Saturn returns again at age 56. And I'll ask people just, casually, if they're old enough, of course, tell me about your life changes or what happened when you were around age 28, 26, 27, 28, something like that.
Yeah.
99% of people saying, are you kidding? This happened, this happened, this happened. And astrologically or numerology wise, what happens is your first 28 years, you are living the influence of the month that you were born. So if you're born in December, it's a 3. If you're born in April, it's a 4. And then the majority part of your operative years, from 28 to 56, are the day that you were born. So if you're born on the 11th day, actually it's an 11 life because 11 is a special number. After age 56, you're living out the year that you were born. And for each people that I talk to and clients, again, I do this in my head when clients come to me. I just say, okay, this is why you're here. Okay, I kind of get your journey from this, and I'll ask them questions. And again, undoubtedly, it just very coincidental.
Yeah, and I think it is the new perspective of the way we look at the legal conflict and the human that's come before us, saying, wow, this is part of your journey. So this isn't a separate part of your life. This is your life, because people come into, even the lawyers that are working in the space, they're like, oh, my day job, it's so tough and this and that. That's your life. Play with it. You're not there to say, oh, I'll just clock on at this time of the day and clock off at the end and the rest of it's my life. This is what I'm trying to also show lawyers is, no, this is your life. So if you're having a difficulty with it, what's in it for you? Have the experience. It's the same thing. It's all the same.
Yeah, and it's also helpful to help people understand that the choices that you make is, one is service to self, selfish, egoist, things like that, or service to others. Now, looking at it from your perspective as to what's in it for you is not selfish in the sense that everyone is in this for themselves to a certain degree, to find out who they are, what their true nature is. But if your true nature is service to others, that's a plus. If your true nature turns out to be service to self, then you've got some work to do.
And you only go so far with that, don't you? You can only go so far with service to self. It's a fun game for a while, but it doesn't work well after a certain point, because you can't resonate with higher energies in that space.
Service to self eventually erodes, because even if you had everything that you wanted, you'd be bored with it. There are no challenges, no highs, no lows. It's all downhill from there.
There is an empty thanks, Tanya. Tanya's just said congratulations to the wonderful interview. It's beautiful. When you're sort of searching outside, we know this. You're looking for love, and this is what I say: is the moment you're born as love, pure love. And you're fragmented over time by the rules that society's imposed upon you. And this is part of the game, is to go out and find the fragments. This is the way I see it. In any event, I'm looking from a shamanistic point of view. And I love that. And then, so as you're finding the pieces, and you'll find it in every conflict ever that you have, or every negative energy and negative emotion, you'll find those fragments. And so, but you're always looking for love. And a lot of us are looking for love in the new Porsche, but actually love is within. So you get all that stuff, the outside things, and that's a great game to play. No problem with that. But then you're like, oh, hang on a minute, I've got all this stuff. Now what? I'm still unhappy.
It's ruby slippers. You've always been loved. You've always been home. Tap 3 times. There's no place like home. And then you get there and you go, wait, I was here all the time.
Yeah. Oh. And it's so satisfying, because that's the thing. We're looking for the satisfaction externally. We're looking for that satisfaction. As soon as you realize, oh, actually, there's nothing attached to me. I don't need anything anymore. It's such a paradox. And you sit in this space and think, wow, I actually don't need anything. And it's peaceful.
The other thing that we have to bring up is the idea of death. Because if you believe in death, then your life is filled with fear, trying to avoid something. It fills your heart. It fills you with dread. If you understand that there may not even be physical death, because we switch timelines at times.
Yeah.
So you're on one timeline you have this may be too strange for some of the listeners, but you may leave one timeline and go into another. And on one timeline you died, on the other timeline you're living on, and every choice that you make, there's another timeline.
Yeah, but I think that's happening during life as well. During your lifetime, the physical life that you're experiencing in this moment, every emotion that shifts is shifting you to a different timeline. So you can crystallize a timeline in this moment by keep feeling a negative energy, keep going along that path. That's what's going to keep reflecting back at you. And unless you shift it, that energy and sit with the energy and say, well, I see you're here. How can I move you? I love you. And how do we shift to another timeline? You see, I also show it through the physics. I just say it's pure physics, because that follows the first law of thermodynamics.
Correct.
Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just shifts.
Right.
It's not woo-woo, it's physics. Simple as that.
Well, I also like the fact that there's more space between molecules than there's molecules. So there really is no matter. You're not really touching anything. It's just an energy resistance. To think that we are tangible beings, as science now confirms that, of course, or has confirmed. That's
right.
Mid 1800s. So you kind of have to take that beyond the intellectual realm and just start playing with it.
Because yes, if we look at each other as we're all, this is what I'm saying with lawyers now, to shift to the new age, is instead of looking at people as if they're physical objects and people's stuff as physical stuff, realize that it is all energy. Science has shown us this. We're under the delusion that we're all separated. However, if we look at everything as frequency and resonance, you can see why you've attracted that in. Why are you resonating at the same frequency as this conflict? Let's check it out. You don't know it because it's unconscious. These frequencies are unconscious. And so the world is your mirror, and it's staring back at you and saying, hey, look, we can pick up the fragment that you lost. I mean, that's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember The Secret, they were talking about getting things, and if you think of something over and over again, it'll eventually come. I think what the reality is if you think of it more as a vibration, and you are attracting similar vibrations, not from your mind, but from your heart, which has a stronger vibratory field. That's the place. Yeah. If you're dwelling in negativity, that's what your heart is going to vibrate, and that's what it's going to attract to. So if you're having an experience in your life, you brought it. All right. And it's not like now deal with it, but just sort of say, okay, I take responsibility for it, being I am able to respond to that. Not why did this happen? Woe is me. And, if you can actually have that conversation with clients. Of course, my practice was called the Holistic Justice Center. So it kind of self-selected the people that came to me, and I could say, well, let me do your numerology, and, we can figure some of these things out. But, you as the attorney need to go into that unknown space, the Nagual, as it's called in Native American. You need to go into the mystery, the void, in order to deeply understand what's going on. Because if you stay in what is known, then you're going to follow precedent. You're going to say, read the news and say that's what's happening. Well, that's not what's happening. That's right. So and I never liked stare decisis. That legal decisions were made on past legal decisions. Boy, that's backwards.
It is. I mean, that's so everything that's not momentary. Love is momentary. Everything is happening now. You limit your possibilities, don't you? If you're working from something from the past, that happened. Because that happened, then this will happen. So you're always using a past event to predict a future. Well, you're just limited your possibilities in life.
Yeah. And it's not to say that cause and effect is not part of the realm, but look at all the causes and all the possibilities and all the possible effects. And to limit yourself to this cause, this effect, that's what limits your life.
Absolutely. And it is happening because of your whole life. And when you just referred to law of the secret, law of attraction, what people don't realize is the law of attraction is happening whether you like it or not. Absolutely. And a lot of the resonances that people carry are unconscious. They've been buried because of usually childhood events, most usually. So that's why you see the events around you as like, oh, what's reflecting back at me? This is the mirror to show you what you're attracting, what frequencies you're carrying, and how then you can shift those if you've got to bring them to the light, to the consciousness, to dissolve them.
Well, plus, you are what you eat, which also means what you hear, what you see, what you hear from people, your education, your experiences, and especially if you watch the
news.
You watch the news. You have to remember that they are not the creators. You're the creator. But if they show you that over and over again, you're going to resonate that. And then what they say is happening is going to be happening to you. If you want to stop the events going on in the news from happening, turn it off. That's it.
And that is the same with relationship. And this is why with a lawyer, particularly in family law, I mean, it's estate law, all those sorts of things too, but people come to you with a belief system that's not always that's not themselves. It's not their authenticity. As soon as you start, collecting your fragments, or as Lawyers for Love say, dropping your rules, you've created all these rules. There are no rules. Everything is on the table in life to experience. All the shoulds, and he should do that and she should be like this. No. And this is what family law shows these people. You've created rules around your life which limits your experience and your possibilities.
Yeah, I don't know if you read this experience that I had with a couple. They wanted to do a prenuptial agreement. And I said, what's that? That's just planting the seeds of divorce. What?
Yeah. Protecting yourself. For what? From what? You can't protect yourself from anything, actually.
No, but planting the seeds of divorce,
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
The agreement says, when we get a divorce, not if we get a divorce, when we get a divorce, this is how we're going to split things up. I say, well, why don't you start early and not get married?
Yeah. Yeah, I said the same thing about contract. Exactly the same thing about contracts. It's you're going. Most of them have the protection clauses. Dispute resolution. Well, you're already forecasting that you're going to have a dispute, so it's like, do this or else you'll be punished. No, that's not flow. That is not how energy operates. It flows in and out for the highest good of all in every moment.
I think of contracts as a canoe. And the way I try to talk to both parties at the same time, even if I'm only representing one side, I try to get everyone together and say, okay, look at it this way. One person is in the front of the canoe. The other one's in the back. You both have your roles, but the contract is your canoe. So if breach of contract means I'm damaging the canoe, so you're going to sink too. So, this is a marriage. A contract is a marriage. A marriage is a contract. But it's not so surface a contract. You're going to get involved in the waters. You're going to sink. Then what are you going to do? Blame the other person that you drowned because you damaged the canoe? So.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You've probably heard me say it before, but if someone doesn't want to stay in the arrangement that you're in, they want to flow out of that arrangement. It's for your highest good and theirs as well, because you don't know what's coming in next. It could be something better. And because I am you and you are me, if everyone's working for their highest good and being their authentic self, we all get to benefit from the experience in life.
Yeah, but we have to learn that. And that's why events are actually catalysts. So the current event going on with the vaccines and masks and all that ridiculousness, it's a catalyst. It's there to wake you up. So, and there's a lot of great things happening. Kids are being taken out of the programmed school environments, which were actually set up in order to make people honor authority figures and do whatever they're told. The military is the same way. The pharmaceutical,
the legal system is the same way.
The medical system used to be very homeopathic, and then they changed it to pharmaceutical based. But of course, the ones that did that with the Rockefeller Foundation, who was looking for something to do with their waste products and refining oil. Oh, what better thing to do than feed it to people?
Yum. Yeah, and I even now go out and look for holistic practitioners everywhere I go. So the dentist, the other day I found a holistic dentist. So it's just like, why is this happening to me? Teeth things, and well, this and this and this. So you go to the root cause. It's always from what I'm thinking is what I'm creating all the time, without question. So it's beautiful then to see a practitioner working in the space of teeth that looks at it like this too and gives you another clue. Oh, I didn't think of that. I'll try that, and it's so much more, it's satisfying. It's satisfying rather than this is bad. Go to the dentist, you expect fear. Another place where you expect a lot of fear, a lot of money and pain. Well, no. Well, if you start changing the way you're doing this or that, okay.
Yeah, other holistic practitioners were part of the original vision of the Alliance of Holistic Lawyers, because I wanted companion alliances of holistic accountants, a holistic dentist, holistic whatever, and that they would all come under the same umbrella so that they could network with each other.
Yes. But how did that go in the end?
Well, let's see. We're talking about 1990. It didn't.
That's a long time ago, but you were there then. This is crazy. It's so you've been there for such a long time.
Yeah, and again, those were the initial visions, and it's only gotten deeper, since then. And there's a lot more to talk about on those deeper levels.
Yeah, that's
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, but everyone has to make that journey. I still agree with everything that I said, but I can tell you, I understood it from an intellectual level when I wrote it, and I certainly felt the energy of it when I was writing it, but not near the way I experience it now. And that's a difference from knowing it to experiencing it.
Experiencing. I couldn't agree with you more on that. It's all very well. I believe all this learning, there's a lot of spirituality, for example, out there that people think they've learned it, but they haven't embodied it yet. There's a real embodiment that needs to take place so that you are it, and there's nothing more. It's a funny thing. It's probably paradoxical to even say it, but that's why I feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I haven't been out on the front lines, because I spent 10 years talking to everyone who would listen, and to law schools, and going around talking to associations of whatever people. And then I realized I had developed such a rap that I would start saying the same thing. Now, where was it within me? It was now answering the same questions over and over again. So
Yeah.
I stopped doing that in order to really bring it inside.
Yeah.
So I haven't been out, and you are the second video thing I've done. The first one was with Pam Hall with the she was the well, she still does it on the mask, America's health, against the mask mandate, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm so pleased to have you on this program today, Bill, because you are speaking the words lawyers for love speak. It's really a shift. It's a complete shift. You can't, as we say, put glitter on the bars anymore. You can't do that because you still have the jail. It's shifting the platform entirely to see that we are all one, we are energy, and we are here for, as you say, the experience of it. That's it. And when we look at it like that, we can really embrace things. The whole pandemic idea is something we are here to experience. I believe the collective has created it for this experience that we're going through now. And we're very powerful creators, all of us, but we don't see it that way. We just think we're powerless. Unfortunately, no, rather fortunately, you are very powerful. So whatever you're fearing, you are creating.
Right. Now, the work that we have to do now, as we emailed back and forth, is we now have to create the new justice system, and justice being just us. And we have to figure that one out. Now we have to envision it, take it from our hearts and find it. And the other thing we have to avoid is not trying to figure out how to get there. Because if we stay in the transition, we're still tied to the Piscean energy of a judge and two lawyers telling a thing. Even the collaborative law is still about some sort of controversy. So if you leapfrog and jump into what is an Aquarian justice system actually look like, I'm not going to answer that for you. I think we need to do it personally and in groups, and just go there. No transition.
Yes. I think some people have seen me in this space saying, Virginia, you're way too out there. But I think unless you go out there into the unknown, you go out and see a vision or envisage something different, you'll never move. The egregore of negativity the legal system has is so powerful that it resonates with every negative energy that you hold within you. So, of course, you're going to get drawn back into that in any moment. And yes, I see it completely differently in that it's just working with self. Always. The lawyer's starting to work with self, because you can't hold space for another until you can hold space for yourself. That's just an impossibility.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know how much more time we have, but
yeah, we have a good few moments.
Oh, good. I think one of the things that wholeness talks about, like you said in the beginning, getting rid of all these laws, because none of these laws are real laws. Karma is a law. Karma happens, and again, it happens whether you think about it or not. But one of the things we have to realize is love thy brother as thyself, or brother, sister, because they are you. The other one, I think the golden rule stands for just about everything. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, because you are doing unto yourself. It's that same, always taking things from the perspective of wholeness. Everything that you do to someone else, you are in fact doing to yourself. Even a negative thought fills what would be 100% space in your heart. A negative thought edges away at that. So now you're living 80%, and 20% is this negative grudge that you're feeling, or this negative thought. So part of what we need to do is clean that space out. Anything negative, just let it go. If you deal with it, if you dwell in it, you keep it. You got to turn its lights out.
Quick. That is so beautiful, Bill. Well, yes, we will wrap it up now.
Okay.
Because we're half an hour in, but that conversation was so poignant, and I really hope we can sort of attract more lawyers into this particular space. It's a leap beyond what many lawyers are doing beautiful work. I will say this, just even the idea of bringing love and kindness into the profession in some fashion is helping soften the energy. It's just doing mountains, but we're leveling up that bit more.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing this today. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure our listeners really appreciate it as well, as I can see by the feedback here today. So thanks so much, Bill. We will talk again soon, no doubt.
Sure of it.
Thank you. And thanks, everyone. Now, if you're a lawyer who brings your style of love into legal practice, please do reach out. We are showcasing lawyers globally who do this work, and we are absolutely loving it. So thanks, everyone, for listening today.